All right, welcome back to DellyMaths Concepts. We're looking at Algebra 1 today, looking at practice exam for the end of course test. If you're new to the channel, I'm asking you to like this channel, subscribe, and share this video. All right, so let's go. Number one, it says, what is the slope of the line graphed below? If I'm going to find the slope of this line that was graphed, all I want to do is to identify 2 points, as you can see here, where I'm able to actually create a right triangle, as you can see here, where I can tell the the length of each side that I create. So you could see this is 1, 2, 3 units. So we go down 3 and across 1, 2, 3, 4. So down 3 and across 4, that's going to be negative 3/4. So here is the slope for that one. Let's take a look at number 2. Number 2 says, since 2005, production of Florida orange has followed a linear model, right? So here's a linear model. What is the slope? All right, so basically we're trying to find the slope. We could identify these as two sets of points. You could see x, you could see y. So we could call this x1, which is y1 there, and this is x2, then this is y2. So remember though, the slope can be found. We can find the slope by saying y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So let us quickly substitute. Now, y2 is 83.5, and I'm going to subtract 75. And then this is over x2, which is 3 minus 1. When we subtract this, so we're talking about 83.5, we want to take away 75. That's going to give me 8.5 over 2. And this is definitely 4.25. So here's my answer. Let's go for question 3. Question 3 says, what is the x-intercept of the line? If you try to quickly put on some scaling on this, we're talking about 1, 2, 3. So right here is 3. X-intercept, x is equal to 3, but my intercept as a coordinate would be 3 meets 0, x and y, right? So there is the x-intercept right here. Remember, the x-intercept is where the graph would have crossed the x-axis. So here's the x-axis, and you're seeing where it crossed the x-axis at 3. So 3 is 0. Let's look at question 4. What is the y-intercept of the line that passes through -8, -3, and 4, -12? The first thing I want to do is to label these points. So I'm going to label this x1, y1, x2, y2. In order to find my y-intercept there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually try to write the equation of the line, and then from that, I'll be able to pick up the y-intercept. So let us find the slope first. So the slope is simply y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And this is going to give me -12 minus -3 over 4 minus -8. Now, remember though, that when two negatives clash, like here and here, they become positive. So this will be a plus, and this will be a plus. So technically, I'm looking at -12 plus 3 over 12. This is 9 over, well, -9 over 12. And if I break this down by using 3 into 9, 3, 3 into 12, 4, I'm getting -3/4. So my slope is actually -3/4. So this is my slope right there. Now, having had my slope, now remember, y is equal to mx plus b. I'm going to write the equation in slope intercept form. And then from that, I'll be able to find the y-intercept because my y-intercept is b. So let us rewrite this and pick a point. So any point of choice. So let us say I'm going to pick on 8 and -3. So I'm going to use -8 and -3 to assist me. This is x, this is y. Let us substitute. So -3 is equal to m, which is -3 fourth, x, which is -8, plus b. The intention is to find the value for b, and that is going to be my y-intercept. So let us break this down, right? Definitely 4 could go into itself. 1, 4 into -8, that's -2. So I'm looking at -3, which is equal to -3 times -2, which is +6 plus b. Now I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. It's negative. So I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides so that the b is alone. So -9 is equal to b. This is the answer, and this is my y-intercept right there. So my y-intercept is equal to -9, but as a coordinate, it's going to be 0, -9. All right, there you go. And remember, at my y-intercept, x is always 0, right? There you go. Let's take a look at another question. So here it is, we're saying here, which is a graph of the equation 3x plus 5y equal to 15, right? So what I want to do here is I'm going to put it in slope-intercept form, where I'm able to identify the slope and the y-intercept, and then I'll decide which one of these would have satisfied what I have. So let us take this, which is 3x plus 5y equal 15. I'm gonna put it in slope-intercept form, so I'm gonna subtract 3x from both sides. Remember, I'm trying to put it in this form, y equal to mx plus b form. So this cancels, so I have 5y, which is equal to -3x plus 15. Now, the aim is to have y by itself, so I'm going to have to divide both sides by 5. You could see here that 5 cancel 5, so we're left with y. This is -3/5 x, and 5 into 15 is 3, so plus 3. This is giving me a lot of information. This is telling me that my y-intercept must be 3. So I'm looking for a graph where it crosses the y-axis at 3. So I'm going to see how many of them cross at 3. 2 of them cross at 3. So it means the other 2 can't help me, okay? So I'm going to be focusing on this one and this one here, right? So now it's going to be my slope that is going to decide which one of these is correct. So let us take a look at my slope. My slope is -3, 5, which means I'm going to go down 3 and across 5. So if I could find this on any one of these, it's the answer. So let me check from 3 here. Down 3, 1, 2, 3. Across 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is my slope here. You could see that. So B is the answer because I'm getting a slope of -3/5, and I'm getting, so this is my M, and I'm getting my B value to be 3. So I don't have to check the other one because this is the answer. Let's go to number 2. Which pair of X and Y intercepts was used to graph the line? Right? So what we want to do is to identify those. My y-intercept is right here, and my x-intercept is right here. So what I want to do is basically, I want to label my graph to see these numbers, right? So this is 1, 2, 3. So this is at 3 here. And then this is -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. And right here is at -6. So my x-intercept is at -6. I'm looking for that x to be -6, and y is +3. So this is the answer right there. So it's all about putting together those fundamental principles as we go forward. Let's look at number 3. Number 3 says, which table of values was used to graph the line? All right, so we're looking at four possibilities, but we're going to have to make sure that we graph this line properly or look for these coordinates and let it make sense. For example, so we probably would have to eliminate a portion of things as we go. -1 with +1. Is that on the graph? No, that means this graph is out. The moment one point isn't right, everything spoils. So let us check out B, -1, -1. I'm seeing -1, -1 here. 1 with 2, I'm not seeing 1 with 2. So if I should put on some numbers on this quickly so you could see. Put it on some numbers. So this is off. Let us see. -2 with +2, right? -2 with, how about -2 with -3? -2 with -3. Oh, yes, this looks like it works right here. All right, so I'm seeing that. That's one. Let's check out the next one. So this is good. 2 with 5. 2 with 5 right here. This works. So my answer is C. So basically what I'm doing is I am plotting points and making sure that those values in the table, they actually work. They're on the line itself. And then that would have been it. All right. All right. So definitely that's out of the way. Let's go to another, right? All right. Looking at a 16 here. Now it says, what is the following linear equation? What is the following linear equation written in standard form? So if I have this and I want to write it in standard form, remember in standard form, we're going to write it like this. It's going to be ax plus by equals c. So which means I'm going to have to get this -3x on this side, right? Mathematically, we're going to add 3x to both sides. Let's rewrite this. So we're going to have +3x, +4y, and this is equal to 8. This is standard form. So I'm looking for this, and my answer is at B right there. Let's take a look at number 2. What is the linear equation 2x plus 5y equal 15 written in slope-intercept form? What is slope-intercept form? Slope-intercept form is y equal to mx plus b. So as you can see, slope-intercept. That is why it's classified as that. So I'm going to take 2x plus 5y equal to 15. And then I'm going to make y the subject. So I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. So 5y, because this is 0, is equal to -2x plus 15. But we're not done yet. We're going to have to divide by 5 to ensure that the y is by itself. So when 5 divided by 5, I'm left with y. -2 fifth is okay with x. 5 into 15, that's 3. So I'm looking for a +3. So I'm looking for -5, -2 fifth x plus 3. And my answer is H. All right, let's go for the third one. Which is the equation of the following line written in slope-intercept form? As you can see, this is in point-slope form. So what I'm going to do is to remember that in slope-intercept form, there is no parentheses. So the first thing I'm going to do is to, I'm going to distribute. So I'm going to distribute this inside. So I have y minus 6 on the left side. I'm going to distribute the 1/4 inside. So I'm going to have 1/4 x. And then when you have 1/4 times 12, this gives 3, because you could see 3, right? So this becomes +3 right here. All I'm going to do now is to add 6 to both sides. So then finally, y is equal to 1/4 x plus 9. So my answer is A. All right, let's go for question 4. Question 4 reads, right? Question 4 reads, The American alligator is the official state reptile of Florida. A baby alligator shown below grows approximately 12 inches per year, as you can see right there. All right. It says this growth can be represented by the linear equation y is equal to 6 plus 12x. So y is the length in inches and x is the number of years. All right, good. What is the equation written in standard form? Remember though, in standard form, all I'm going to do is to take this and I'm going to write it like this. AX plus BY equals C, which is equal to 6 plus 12x. So I could get this on this side and get this on that side. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 6 first. So I have negative. So this is negative 6 plus y, which is equal to 12x. So I'm going to take the y from both sides. So basically negative 6 is equal to 12x minus y. Or you could say 12x minus y is equal to negative 6. You're looking for this. 12x minus y is equal to negative 6. We take that, right? All right, number 5. Number 5 says the the double intercept form of a line is when is a over x over a plus y over b equal to 1, where a is the x-intercept and y is the b-intercept, right? So let us take a quick look. It says the line above would have the equation x over 3 minus y over 2, which is equal to 1. What is the equation of the in slope-intercept form? All right, so if I'm going to put this into slope-intercept form, basically what I'm going to do is to move things around, all right? So let's take this. So we have x over 3 minus y over 2 equal to 1. Remember, slope-intercept form is like this. Y is equal to mx plus b. So I'm going to multiply throughout by 6 so that I get rid of the fraction. So I'm going to multiply this by 6. I'm going to multiply this by 6. I'm going to multiply this by 6. When I do that, though, 3 into itself 1, 3 into 6 is 2. So this is 2x. 2 into itself 1, 2 into 6, 3. So this is minus 3y. This is equal to 6. Remember the format, slope intercept. So I'm going to get the x on the other side. So I'm going to subtract 2x. So I have negative 3y, which is equal to negative 2x. And then there's a plus 6. My last move, I'm going to divide everything by negative 3, negative 3. So let us put it right here. When we divide negative 3 here, this becomes y, and this becomes positive 2/3 because the two negatives, this negative and that negative, becomes positive. And then negative 3 into 6 is negative 2. We're looking for this y is equal to 2 over 3x minus 2, and the answer is right here. All right, let's go to the next one. So we had A15, right? All right, so it says a library provides a faxing chart, a faxing service as shown. So we're looking at the base fee, we're looking at the base fee, we're looking at the fee per page, right? There we go. So now, let's see what it says. Which equation describes this linear function where y is the total cost and x is the number of pages? Y is the total cost, x is the number of pages. So this base fee is going to be like a fixed fee here. So definitely this is the answer because I'm seeing this is the fixed fee. There's nothing with any fixed fee, and we need something with $1 by itself as a fixed fee, right? So whether or not you print anything, all right, this is the base fee, $1. So you won't pay less than that. So C is the answer. And then as you could see, X times the 0.2 or the 20 cents would have been the number of pages that you would have been printing in addition to the $1. All right. So let's go to question 2. It says, a car is traveling from Pensacola to Key West, a distance about 792 miles. If the car is traveling at a rate of 60 miles per hour, which equation describes its distance from Key West after X, right? After X hours. That means for 60 miles every X hours. So this is going to tell a certain number of miles. You want to take this out of the initial 792. So it's going to be G because it's going to be 792 and we're subtracting how far we have gone, you know, because it's 60 every hour. So that one there is G. All right, let's take a look at this one. It says, Erin purchased a beach chair for 8. So the beach chair is for $8. So you want to highlight key ideas and some cold beverages for a trip to a beach. The maximum price. So this is the highest it can be. So it could be lower. So this is the highest it could be. Right. So the maximum price of a beverage is $125, which inequality could be used to determine C, the total cost of the chair and N beverage. Total cost of the chair and N beverage. So the chair is already 8. So you notice 8 is everywhere. All right. So we want to see which one of these we're gonna pick, right? Now, as you can see here, we're looking for 8 plus 1.25n, and that is everywhere. You're seeing it everywhere. So the focus is going to be on the inequality, how we represent it. This would be some money that I have to pay. So it's going to be, this has to be less than or at least equal to the cost of the chair. Because remember, this is the maximum money I'm using. So this is the highest it could be. And then if I'm getting beverages less than this, then it's going to be lower than this amount. So I have to pick C to represent that idea. So you have to think inequality now, right? This cost must be less than whatever they cost must be because this is the maximum. So it's either less than it or at least equal to it. All right, let's go to 4. 4 says, the table below shows the cost of a monthly gym membership. So you see the number of month here and the total cost, and you're seeing that. Which equation would you use to find the total cost of the gym membership in M months? All right, so you could see here, this is key for what we're doing because at 0 month, you're paying 15. At 1 month, you're paying 45. So if you should subtract this 15 from it, right? If you take out the 15 out of this is actually 30 plus 15. If you take out the 15 out of this, you're seeing 60 plus 15. You're seeing 90 plus 15. If you're looking at that, right? So you do realize that 1 times 30, you're seeing the 30 times 1, you're seeing the 30 times 2 to give your 60 here, and the 30 times the 3 to give the 90. And you're seeing that basically that we're multiplying the number of months times 30, then we add back the 15. So H is the answer for that. All right, let's keep going. Miss Holiday has $300 to take her students' class to a zoo, her science class to a zoo. It will cost $200 to rent the bus and $4 per student for admission. What is the maximum number of students she can afford to take? All right, so there are multiple ways you could do this. You could do this a very simple way by saying, listen, I have $300. Let us take out the bus money. If I take out the bus money, I have $100 to spend on admission for you to go in. So it's 4. So if I divide up this by 4, because it's $4 per student, it's going to tell me that my maximum number of students is 25. So we could look at it like that. We could set up a system and work it as well, but we could also actually deal with it this way. So the maximum number of students is actually 25 for that. All right, let's go. We're looking at A14 right now, right? So on A14, the question says, what is the solution of the inequality. All right, so we want to solve this inequality. I'm going to somehow put it back right here. So we have negative 4x plus 13, and that is less than 2x plus 3. In solving an inequality, it is definitely the same solving as an equation. There is only one thing that we need to know. If we multiply or divide by a negative number, we flip the sign. Apart from that, we do all the same properties and so on of equality and so forth, or inequality. So let us see. I'm going to gather all my x's on one side, right? So I'm going to gather my x's on one side. So I'm going to take 2x from both sides. Then I'm going to rewrite what I have. So I have negative 6x here plus 13, and this is less than 3. So remember, this cancel, that's 0, that's gone. Now, my next move is to get the 13 on the other side, okay? So I'm going to subtract 13, balance the equation by subtracting, the inequality by subtracting. So I have negative 6x, which is less than negative 10. Remember, positive 3 minus 13 is minus 10. So now I'm going to divide by the negative, and this is when we have to apply that one thing. When you divide by a negative number, you flip your sign. I want you to take a look. This term, all the time, you have to do that. So if you divide or multiply by a negative number, then it switch. Again, here, negative and negative becomes positive. So I have 10 over 6. And if I break this down by dividing throughout by 2, I get 5 over 3. So technically, it is saying that x must be greater than 5 over 3. And I'm looking for that. My answer is at A. So the solving of this is just like an equation, except for the few exceptions that we have to look out for. Let's go through question 2. It says, which property of real numbers justifies step 2 in the solution below? So here is step 2 right here. So we have to pay attention. At step 1, we distribute, but at step 2, the 7 is gone, which means, and then the negative 5 turned negative 7, negative 12. So what happened here, as you could see, I could just drop it down quickly. What happened at step 2 is that we subtract 7 from both sides. So take a look. That is how we ended up there. That's step 2. We subtracted 7 from both sides. So that's the subtraction property of equality, of inequality. What is that? The subtraction property of inequality states that the result is the same when you subtract both sides of the inequality by the same number. So we subtract 7 from the left side, and we subtract 7 from the right side. It is saying that the thing is still the same, right? So this was the property that we executed right there. Let's go to number 3. What is the solution of the inequality? All right, let's take a look at this. So if I have negative 5, which is less than or equal to 2w plus 1, less than or equal to 15. The intention here is that we wanna keep the w, we wanna have the w alone. So we wanna subtract 1 from everything. So we subtract 1 in the middle right here. Take a look. So we're going to have to subtract 1 here, subtract 1 there. Let's rewrite what we have. We have negative 6. We're going to represent back everything. The 1 is gone, and we have 14 because 15 minus 1 becomes 14. Then we're going to divide everything by 2. Our signs are not going to flip because it's a positive 2. So I have negative 3 right there, less than or equal to w, which is less than or equal to 7. So as you could see, you divide through it by the 2. I'm looking for this as a response, and I'm seeing it at B right here. Right. So there it is. So you could see that you work it down and you're good. Let's go to question 4. Question 4 says, if X is an element of the set shown below, which names the solution of. So you want to work this out first, right? So basically, I'm going to isolate the X. So I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides. So 9 minus 8 gives me 1, which is greater than or equal to. This becomes 0. This is negative 4/3 with x. So, so I need to find x. So I'm going to multiply, right? So I'm going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal. So it's going to be, I'm going to multiply by negative 3/4. So I reciprocate that so it could cancel, which means that I'm going to have to multiply this side by negative 3/4, just the same, to balance, right? So take a look. You could see that this cancel here, this cancel here, this cancel here. Negative and negative becomes positive. So let's take a look now. Because I multiply by a negative number, I'm going to have to flip my sign. So negative 3/4, I'm going to have to flip that sign like that. And I have x here. So x is greater than or equal to, right? X is greater than or equal to negative 3/4. Now, if you want to have a quick idea of where is that on your number line, this is like 2, this is 1, negative 0 is somewhere here. So negative 3/4 is right here. Things greater than this will go that way. So these are not part of my solution. These are not a part of my solution, right? Because as you could see, they're going the other way. So all of these here are things that would have satisfied this. Think about it. X must be greater than. So we're adding greater than or equal to this, and we're adding this way. So we're going to encounter 0, 1, 2, 3 to infinity. But right now, this is the best set that would have satisfied this case that we have right there. All right, let's go. Number 5. So what number 5 says here is that which graph represent the solution of the inequality shown below? So we're looking at the inequality. What we want to do is that we want to make sure that we could work this out. Do I have space somewhere here? All right, let me put it on the side here. So I have 10, which is less than 4 minus 3k, and this is less than or equal to 19. Now, I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. So I'm going to subtract 4 throughout. So I'm going to have 6, which is less than negative 3k, less than or equal to 15. So you could see 4 was subtracted from all the terms there, all the sections that we have. So next move, I'm going to divide throughout by negative 3. And here is the issue again. If I divide through by a negative number, remember, I'm going to have to flip all my signs, all right? So we're going to pay attention to this, this, and then we're going to flip the sign as we go. So 6 divided by negative 3 is going to give me negative 2. I'm going to flip the sign now, so this becomes this, right? And then this becomes 1, so we're left with k. This sign must be flipped as well because negative 3 would have flipped it there. This becomes negative 5. So basically, if I'm on the number line, negative 2 is here. Negative 5 is somewhere down here in terms of arrows, right? Now, remember now how the shading goes, right? So negative 5 is down here. When we shade, if we're dealing with this or this, we have an open circle. We're not going to shade it. But if we're dealing with this or this, we have to shade our circle, right? So that is what we're looking out for. So in this case, you could see here that where the negative 2 was, we're going to have that open. So I'm looking out for that, right? Where the negative 2 is, I'm going to have it open, and I'm seeing quite a number of them open where negative 2 is. This is off. This is off because those are positive 2, positive 2. So those 2 are not a part of my solution. So I'm either going to be concerned with C or D. Let us take a look at what's going on. Now, if you read this, right, it is suggesting here that K must be greater than negative 5. If you're greater than anything on your number line, you're stepping to the right of it, like this. So at -5, we're looking for a close, shaded, and we're heading that way. And then k is less than 2. And when you're less than something on the number line, you go that way. Remember, though, that this cannot be shaded, so it's going to be open at 2. So I'm looking for an open at 2 and a close at 5, and my response is between them. That is C. Take a look. Close at -5, open at 2, and this is between them. So we are less than, we are actually less than -2, but greater than or equal to -5. And that's the solution there. Let's go to 6. The graph below represents a solution for which inequality? Now, what it means, we're going to have to try to solve these to see if they match, but we need to know what this is. Again, we're seeing that we have an open circle at 1. So this is suggesting that we have x, right? X is at 1. But the thing is, the arrow is pointing to the left of 1. That means x is less than 1. So this is suggesting that x is less than 1. There's no equal because it's not shaded, okay? You could see it's open right there, which means that we're going to take these and we're going to see which one of these could give x is less than 1. That's all. So if I take the first one, it says x plus 3 less than or equal, then that's not a part of my deal because we're not dealing with any equal. So this is out of the equation altogether, right? So let us say I grab G. G says 5 minus 3x is less than 2. Let's work this out. Let's say we call it the x's on both sides. The 5, removing the 5 from this side, I'll have -3x, which is less than, and this is -3. So -3x is less than -3. At this time, though, I'm going to have to divide by -3. Now, by me dividing by -3, remember the deal. I'm going to have to flip the sign. So the sign is going to flip to this, which is 1, because -3 divided by -3 is 1, but this is not this. So this can't work either. So we have to be very careful. Let's try the last one here. Well, the next one, -4x is greater than -4. At this moment, all I'm going to do, I'm going to divide through it by -4 so that the x stands alone, right? So the x is right here, the x is right here. Now, when I divide by a negative number, as you could see, x will be alone because this cancels. I have to flip the sign. So this becomes that, and then this becomes 1. This is exactly what we're looking for right here. So the answer is at H. Let's keep rolling. 8:30. This is my last piece right now, wrapping up. All right, let us take a look. It says, which show the equation n equal to 8 plus that, we're solving for n. Now, in this case, if you're solving, right, it simply means to isolate the subject or to isolate the thing that we're solving for. So my aim is that I want to isolate m, but there's a process that I must go through. First things first, I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides. Let's take a look. So right now I have n minus 8, which is equal to 5m. Now, definitely when I look at my responses, I could say that this is the answer already because this is the only one that says n minus 8, right? It is already done. So I could pick it, but I'm just going to show you that it's really it. If you divide everything by 5, now the n is alone, so the m is alone. So n minus 8 over 5 is equal to m. And you can see that we cited already that the moment you see something unique in your answer, when you pick it, you could run with the answers if, for the sake of time and everything. Let's take a look at number 2. Number 2 says the formula for the volume of a cylinder is V is equal to pi r square h, where r is the radius and h is the height. What is the equation? What is the equation solved for h? In other words, I need to make h a subject. So I have V, which is equal to pi r square h. The intention is that I need to isolate the h. Everything here is multiplying. which means that the inverse of multiplication is to divide. So I'm going to divide by the things I don't want, which is pi r squared. I'm going to divide this by pi r squared. Pi r squared cancels itself. So you could see where h is equal to v over pi r squared. So that answer right there is at F. There we go. Let's go for the third question. Now, which shows the equation 3x minus 4y and x solve for x. So basically, what you want to do is to collect your x's on one side. So I'm going to subtract xz from both sides. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I'm seeing the variable that they want me to solve for on both sides. It's going to be my responsibility to gather them on one side. That's and then I'm going to apply another idea that we learned. So let us look. So I'm subtracting that. So it's going to be 3x minus xz. And this is going to equal to, 1 second. All right, so I have 3x minus xz with a minus 4y, and this is equal to 0. All right, so I'm just writing up. Then I'm going to get this. I'm doing it step by step. I'm going to get this on the other side. All right, so I'm going to add 4y to both sides, right? So as you could see, we have 3x minus xz, and it is equal to 4y. Now, if you really know your math, all you got to do is to switch these, bring them over. Like, for example, let me switch the pen for this. You bring the negative 4 to the other side. It becomes positive 4y here. And this positive xz becomes negative xz. If you could see that, you could do it. If not, you take the steps correctly and make sure you don't error, right? Now, at this time, you want to ask yourself, what is the greatest common factor here? The greatest common factor is the letter x, because you can't solve for x with two x's. So you want to make sure that you have only one. So you're going to factorize out x. So when you factorize out, you divide through by your GCF. So this leaves a 3. And when you cancel this, you're left with z minus z. And this is equal to 4y. Let us divide both sides by 3z, right? Divide by 3z. Not 3z, 3 minus z. So you could see this cancel. So I'm looking for this as my answer. And I'm looking, and it is right here at D. So we have to pay attention to details, basically. Pick our answers wisely as we go. Let's go to number 4. So we have 2 more leaves. All right, for the formula right there, we have P is equal to 2L plus 2W, where L is the length and W is the width. What is the equation solved for W? So we want to find W. Let's put this right here. So if P is equal to 2L plus 2W, first move, I'm going to subtract 2L from both sides. Why? Because I'm trying to isolate the W. So I'm going to have P minus 2L equal to 2W. The last move is to remember that I need W by itself. 2 is multiplying to the W. I'm going to divide by 2, cancel there, divide by 2. So this is my answer, right? So wherever this is, we're looking for it, it's at H. So here's my answer at H. So it's simply making the subject, transposing, solving, doing your inverse operation, and so on. Let us take this one and see what it looks like. We're solving for B1. So it is said that A is equal to a half H B1 plus B2. Now, here's the thing right here, right? First move, I'm going to get rid of this fraction. So I'm going to multiply by 2 over 1, which means I'm going to multiply this by 2 as well, right? So you could see that this cancels this on the right side. On my left side, I'm left with 2a, which is equal to h, and then I have b1 plus b2. The intention, though, is to isolate this, but I'm not in a rush. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to divide by h so that it cancels itself on the right side. And now I'm going to divide by h on this side. And then I'm going to look at my answers. Which one of my answers look like this already? I'm not done, but I could already pick this and move on because this is the only one that has 2a divided by h. I don't have to go any further. I'm done. But let me just clean it up and finish it off. Right? So we have 2a over h, which is equal to b1 plus b2. As you could see, I need to subtract b2 from both sides. And here comes. When you subtract b2 from both sides, take a look. 2a over h minus b2 is equal to b1. We already suspected that this was it, right? Remember though, if you have not yet subscribed, subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it. See you next time.